continue talking about Lucifer. So Lucifer, therefore, was a dropout from a classroom on Earth that apparently had some experience working in a near heavenly environment. When I say near heavenly, I mean the immediate area of outer space, the atmosphere of the planet, or perhaps extending a certain amount of distance out into the solar system. But probably not extending beyond the solar system, or even to the extremities of what we consider to be the solar system, which we really don't know how far this solar system goes, with how many objects are basically in orbit of the sun. But because we can't see what we can't see, and anyway, I'm not going to go into that. But so then, what the next level does, when there are renegades, which Lucifer became, because he ended up going against the next level, teaching against the next level, and that there was no next level, that they were strictly space aliens that wanted to take people over for their agenda, and that they simply, in his mind, knew things that he could figure out for himself, I guess. I'm not sure exactly how he thinks about that. At this point, he may not think about it at all. I don't know if he's got the capacity to think of what I'm calling the next level as being the ones that created everything. Or he thinks that they just learned how to manipulate more things than he's learned to manipulate in terms of matter. And because when you look at what certain individuals say, who say they are basically channelers or contactees for various space alien groups, like the Etherians or the Arcturians or the Orions or the Pleiadians, we see, like Alex Collier talked about, how they say there are individuals that are more evolved than them, and that they have in a story form, is passed down to them, that there are some that ultimately created even the matter, the physical matter. But it's only stories. So they don't really pay any attention to those stories, because they don't know how to identify those that are reflective to us of the origin of the matter, as like we see in Genesis through Moses and Jesus and potentially to some degree possibly the Buddha, and maybe perhaps before that perhaps Krishna and Arjuna, and in that case Shiva was the destroyer. So that was the name of Lucifer, a Luciferian in times past, I suspect, because the destroyer is, but I may be wrong about that. That might be a next level crew that is assigned to the recycling. I don't know, because Tiendo didn't talk about this. This is where I'm starting to use my mind as opposed to just trying to stick with what Tiendo gave us. So let me get back to the definition of hell. The definition of hell, like almost everything, there's a physical manifestation to every definition, and there's a mental or spiritual definition to every term. A physical to every term, and a mental or spiritual dimensional definition to every term. And hell is one of those. So hell is the abode of the dead. So in one sense, hell is when you die. But it's only hell if you can't evolve, if the mind that died, the spirit of the human, or the soul of the human, if they were given a soul, when that vehicle, physical vehicle, died, the spirit is in the spirit world and the soul is in the spirit world. But the soul is taken by the next level into their little compartment, their area of the electromagnetic field that is surrounding the earth, that could be considered to be the spirit world. That I don't know how far it extends beyond the earth. So, which was called paradise by Jesus, which he said to the thief on the cross, "You will be with me in paradise," because he was going to be with him because he believed he was given a soul at that moment or right before that, that enabled him to see Jesus for who he was, because he was asking God in his own way, whatever that was, for help. And so he was given some help. And so basically he was allowed to be with Jesus because he had a potential to grow further. So when he died, that vehicle died, his soul was taken to be with Jesus, because Jesus was going to that same physical compartment or area that was considered to be heaven on earth. Or a new city of God, a New Jerusalem, in the spiritual sense, which is real. The spiritual sense isn't unreal. It also has a matter, a reality to it, except it's very, very, it's not dense matter like the physical that we consider physical on the human strata, but it's got a physical quality to it, to where this matter, if it was sensitive enough to it, if it ran into that matter of the beings that are a soul being that have a certain amount of density to it, it would actually feel it. It might feel it like a wind. Tiendo didn't say exactly how we would feel it, but they said we could feel, if we bumped into a member of the next level that was in a less dense body form in our environment, in the Earth environment, on the surface of the planet even, but within the same, occupying the same space as we occupy. So they could be right next. There could be an individual member from the next level right next to me right now, that if I move my arm in a certain way, I could feel their presence, which I'm not right now, so I don't know if there is one, an individual. He might be right above me because he doesn't want to be able to be felt by me, because whatever reason, it doesn't matter. We're not supposed to really understand that unless they feel like they want us to understand that, because we have to have a certain amount of faith. And if we give the vehicle too much evidence, then it can have a negative impact on our ability to use our mind to pull in what's appropriate for us to pull in order to be a student of our older member. They regulate that. So anyway, so hell is a condition of not being with members of the next level in the future or at present. So when the human dies that doesn't have a soul, or perhaps, which I don't have a lot of knowledge of, from Tiendo about, but I have little indication of it, that the next level they can take the spirit and do something with it as well. Whether they put that in a certain bucket and say, okay, this spirit is very close to being born, so we want to keep it here as an influence to be brought back to interface with certain of the genetic strain that are like leaves in the genetic tree that are going to be growing on the planet when we start the next civilization, that could represent a certain thinking. Maybe it's thinking about peace. Maybe it's where the meek shall inherit the earth. Might mean that all the peace lovers, spirits right now that are dying, that weren't so advanced to be wanting to give to the next level and address the next level in the next level terms, into believing the current manifestation of the next level in the older members, in this case Tien Do. They weren't at that stage, but they were peace-loving, they were kind, they were gentle, they were really good humans. The next level may be a value to saving those spirits, so that those spirits could be an influence over the genetic strain that's growing up, because that genetic strain will be coming from a more mammalian-based beginning. To be survival of the fittest means more. To be more like a Moses encampment, to where killing another human wouldn't be unheard of, because it would be seen as an eye for an eye, which is a primitive. It's a more developed behavior than not having any justice at all. So that if someone kills somebody for the strangest of reasons, they don't suffer any consequence that can be seen by others. So it encourages others that, if I want this, if they've got like a herd of sheep that are really good for me and my family, I'll just go kill him and I'll take his sheep, okay? And if there's no ramifications to doing that, then it's going to be easier for someone else to think, well, why not? Why shouldn't I do that? It just means I just have to have a bigger, powerful army or family, or bigger, better weapons, so I can go take that person's sheep. And then look, we have this great lamb to eat and lamb's milk to drink. If they drink lamb's milk, I don't know. But so the Moses experiment was trying to bring them up a notch to where there were ramifications to their actions, and that they were responsible to those ramifications, so that they could expect that if they did something to somebody else, they would suffer the same karma, which was a way of teaching those that were contemplating the same behavior, thinking twice before they